Okay, everyone, now we are going to look at defense now. I just did for a group for free agency predicting my thoughts. Let's do defense predicting the free agency for tomorrow for the defensemen, where they will be going. Here's my thoughts, which teams they will be going to. Let's get started. Now, it's not as many players as the forward group, but this is what I have, just some notable defensemen, where they could be going tomorrow or days to come if they haven't got in a team they want to go to yet. So, starting off with the big fish here, and that's Alex Patrangelo. Alex Patrangelo, Golden Knights, Maple Leafs, other teams interested, but I feel like he's going to look out there and say, Golden Knights don't have the cap for me. The Leafs, maybe not much cap whatsoever. I'm going to the Blues back. I think he'll go back to the Blues saying, okay, I'm sorry, your deal is the best. I'm going back there. I just don't see it. Unless, like, the Blue Jackets go after a guy like him. I don't know. I just feel like, how? How would they be able to function here? Literally. I don't see how they, do this. How he signs with someone else. I just don't see it, Unless the National Predators are after Alex Patrangelo, which doesn't really make sense. They have good defense, really solid defense. So, I'm just thinking of teams that moved out cap, So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they bring in, like, Golden Knights or Leafs, or someone brings in Patrangelo, and then they have all this money, that they get rid of, and then they work on it after. Who knows? Just put it out there. Okay. So I feel like he'll go back to the Blues, see his options, and say, you know what, the Blues is my best option. I want to stay in St. Louis. Let me go stay there. Okay, next I have Justin Schultz going to the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets could use a defenseman. I feel like they'll get Schultz, Patrangelo, Krug, someone. I feel like they're going to get, and I think Schultz will be going to the Jets. Good, solid guy. Won 2 Stanley Cups with the Penguins. Injury prone at times, but he's a guy that he'll be ready to go, and a solid defenseman would be great for the Jets. They really could use a guy like this. Oh hey, Tyson Barry, I have him going to the Vancouver Canucks. Now he's not gonna demand his $8 million like he said last year. That's what made him lose his spot with the Colorado Avalanche and get traded to the Maple Leafs for National Academy, which actually worked out pretty well for the Colorado Avalanche, having it. So, Barry, part of the Canucks, adding some offensive, do not expect him for defense. This guy gets a shot from the point, loves to score goals from the blue line. Did not do that very much the Leafs last year. Really did not do that, like he did with Colorado. But, yeah. Moving on to the Bruins here, and Torrey Krug, I feel like he'll return. He'll look at the Red Wings and say, do I really want to go to a rebuilding team right now? Is that really my thing I want to do? And maybe the Jets also offer him a contract, and he says, nah, I don't know. And maybe the best place for him to go is back home. Less money, maybe even less to him a little, but we'll see. The door's still open for the Bruins and Torrey Krug. You can go test it out, see what his thoughts. Kind of like Steven Stamkos when he said, I'm going to test free agency. He goes test it, looks around, and says, yeah, I'm going back to Lightning. And some of these guys might just look around and say, well, let me see, and just go back to the team. So I feel like Torrey Krug goes back to the Bruins and signs his contract there. All right, I had the Detroit Red Wings picking up Andy Green. There was thoughts about Detroit being really interested in Andy Green, and for a good reason. Good veteran defenseman, could really add some good stuff. Went to the conference final, the Islanders last in the 2020 playoffs. Was with the Devils of his whole career. Went to the final in 2012. Has great experience with the captain. All that stuff can be actually good experience for Dylan Larkin and actually the whole blue line too. Okay, looking at the Blackhawks, I have them picking Sami Vatanen, a playmaker on the blue line. They can use defense. They can use a guy like this. Does he want to go to a team like this? We'll see. They're really shaking things up. No Corey Crawford's coming back. Wow. That's going to be interesting, wouldn't it be? But Sammy Vatanen would be great with the Blackhawks and a good puck-moving defenseman. I have TJ Brody going back to the Flames. Bruins could be interested in him, but I feel like they'll sign to Krug, so Brody won't be going to the Bruins, and he might just find himself back with the Flames. Okay, I had the Ducks picking Cody Ceci, a guy who still has to prove himself at times. He hasn't been the best. Even with the Leafs after getting traded from Ottawa, not the best defenseman, but Cody Ceci could get some good minutes with the Ducks and not just be a third pairing defenseman and whatever. He could just have some more time for sure. Christopher Tavian could play with his brother Brendan Tavian in Pittsburgh. Christopher Tavian is a good, solid defenseman from the Vancouver Canucks, and he's still a free agent right now. I feel like Tavian would be a good, solid player for the blue line, for the Penguins. Feels like they keep changing the blue line. They have bringing Matheson, they get rid of Johnson, which is a good idea, getting rid of Jack Johnson. They thought they had some trade people who would love to pick him, and then no. But Tavian could be a good, solid defenseman for these Penguins for sure. Okay, the Panthers can go after. I have Travis Hamonic, and they could add. They're really trying to revamp the blue line, and adding like Travis Hamonic to that blue line could be very good. The blue line wasn't the best this year whatsoever, and adding him could be a good, solid pickup. I have the Maple Leafs picking Vaco Gudez, and Vaco Gudez is a good, solid, shutdown defenseman. Not a guy who gets shot from the point. Very physical defenseman, and something the Maple Leafs could very much use. I'm not going to take a big chunk of cap. Played the Capitals last year, known as a flyer before then with the Lightning. Just a good, solid defenseman and a guy that could be just fits the mold and what the Leafs need for the blue line. I have the Los Angeles Kings picking Kevin Shattenkirk for the LA Kings, and they could use good, solid defense. They brought in Mata from a trade for the Blackhawks, from the Blackhawks, bringing in now Kevin Shattenkirk, someone who just won the Stanley Cup, and this team could be a team that could start competing for next year, and Shattenkirk might look at this and say, good bright future, a team that could, next 1-2 years, could make the playoffs and beyond. So, Shattenkirk could be a good, solid defenseman. I think that the Kings need help on defense. They brought in Mata, like I said. You bring in Shattenkirk, might be a good, solid option. Moving on to Eric Gufferson, and I have the Oilers picking him up. He's a good playmaking defenseman, not much of a defenseman. He's more a playmaking power play. Could be great with McDavid and Drysdale on that power play. Could add a defenseman. His cap hit would probably be more if he played like he did in 18-19 season. 19-20 season wasn't the best. He got traded to the Flames, and it was okay. But I think the Oilers will be a good, solid pickup for him. They need a defenseman. Clef Bond's probably out for the rest of the season, for the whole season, for next year, or most of the season, I should say. So we'll see how that goes. I had the Zac Bogosian going to the Washington Capitals. Just won the Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning on a $700,000 contract. He might get maybe maybe $1 million contract, something like that. Play with the Capitals, add some good, solid third pairing defense, because probably like Gudez said, he's gone. So maybe Bogosian will kind of fill that void. I have Madison Bowney going to the Buffalo Sabres, a guy who the Red Wings did not qualify. So I feel like he could go to the Sabres, good, solid, physical, stay-at-home defenseman. Could be good for Buffalo. And the guy was with Capitals and then went to the Red Wings. But I think he'll be solid with the Sabres. Moving on to the Bruins, I have him picking Mark Borowiecki. Yes, Mark Borowiecki said he's not staying with the Senators, unfortunately for him. But, I know, you look at the name, it's like Borowiecki, right? No. How it looks is not how it sounds, unfortunately. But, Borowiecki is a good, solid third pairing defenseman. A really nice person, they say. But could play on the third pairing and could be a good guy for the Bruins. Who knows? I have the Red Wings picking Jack Johnson, who's been bought out by the Penguins just to add more veteran help. They brought in Mark Starr. They can bring in like an Andy Green. They bring in Jack Johnson just on short-term deals. Might be better than Neville because help out these young guys on defense and not make them have all these minutes. Instead, give them to like Jack Johnson and Andy Green that could handle it because they've been there once. I have Benning going from former Edmonton Oiler, Matt Benning. He'll go to the Vancouver Canucks. His cousin or uncle something from Jim Benning. That's his cousin. So maybe he gives him an offer. Say, yeah, we could use you. We have a hole in that right side. Come on in, Benning. Thank you so much. And it'll be cheap. Remember, I'm your uncle, and you can take less. No, I'm joking. But, yeah, that's what I have. These are all the players I think will be going to these teams tomorrow in the coming days. We'll see how wrong I am. I want to see. I will do a mock draft and see my mock draft of my final mock draft versus what really happened. I want to compare. That's what I want to do after the draft, which already happened. But I'm going to wait a couple of days after free agency happens. So, thanks for watching. Like the video. Give a bell, comment, share. Let's try to hit 400 subs. NHL Sports. Have a nice day. And goodbye.